I'm still here at the compound of the in-laws. Denver Broncos Mile High View, no commercials, no bullshit. You ain't gonna get the bullshit here. You're gonna get the story behind the story with Russell Wilson. The first thing I want to talk about was my initial reaction when you guys were saying that Russell Wilson had been benched. I thought you guys were joking. I thought, oh, they no, they didn't. They didn't really bench him, what? And so I didn't really take it serious. But I think what we need to get into is the fact that we were on top of this before the Russell Wilson signing. And I want to bring in what Sandy Clough was saying. For those of you who don't know who Sandy Clough is, he's a local beat writer slash radio guy that has been covering the Broncos since Dan Reeves' day. So he's really a Elway insider in that Elway club. So so anyway, what? So you found out they benched Russell Wilson. What was your initial take?
Well, my initial take is this organization can't help themselves. I mean, let's just be honest here, Chop's liver. We were on this at the very beginning. This trade should have never happened. It's one
No.
of the worst trades in NFL history. And then to make it even worse, you paid this guy the ransom like he did anything here in Denver before he even stepped foot on the field. That is the sign of ineptitude in that organization. You could thank the front office that everybody that I've listened to, everybody that I have researched, doesn't hold the front office accountable. Never. It's always George Payton, Sean Payton, or Russell Wilson. It's never the front office's fault. It's never their fault. I mean, how many times do we need to sit up here till you and I are both blue in the face, chopped liver, and say the people that have been there since 2017 in that scouting department and in that front office needs to go?
Yeah, I sent a kind of a remember the video we did. Who was the architect behind the $250 million?
Oh,
So I'm going to link that to this video as well. Excuse me. So I want to bring everybody back in time because this is a bigger issue, as you're just alluding to, than George or either one, George or Sean Payton, any of the Paytons. When before this Russell Wilson deal went down, we had Elway working behind the scenes, even though we were assured, oh, he's not meddling. He's not meddling. Dan Quinn was hired literally by George Payton, and there was for head coaching of the Denver Broncos. There was the search committee that was run by John Elway, who supposedly didn't exist, but yet he ran the search committee. And he said, no. You got to hire Nathaniel Hackett, because they thought they were just so sure and arrogantly thought that they were going to be able to bring in, obviously, Aaron Rodgers not only wouldn't take it, but he wouldn't take the deal that Russell Wilson, that they were going to offer. I'm sure they were going to offer Rodgers the same thing, but wisely enough, Aaron Rodgers, I'm not doing that. So what happened is that Elway and Ellis, they panicked. They ran straight to, and they may have been working with Seattle too, just as a backup, the B plan. Remember, we never wanted Russell Wilson anyway. It was always Aaron Rodgers, right? Remember we were saying that. Mm-hmm. But Elway just had to make a big splash move and dump it onto the owners. So behind the scenes, they were working with Seattle, and they gave everything, including the kitchen sink. I believe that's my personal opinion, but in hindsight of what's going on now, I believe that $250 million to Russell Wilson was already etched in stone legally in the contract, because there's a lot they don't tell you what goes on in the contract before this owner took over. And did I not say, can you not go back and listen to the videotape of me saying, you better be careful, because they didn't make this deal, and this thing could become really ugly. It's exactly what I said. That this thing could get really ugly because this ownership didn't pay for it. So they bring Russell Wilson in. They get signed in the $250 million. Now, it's, again, he has, last year was abysmal. And first of all, the ownership that's here didn't have anything to do with Russell Wilson to say or anything. And I think that, and the way Russell Wilson played, and the fact that that deal was done behind their back before they had a back, if you know what I mean. I think that just, and then the piss poor performance last year, I think they were, like Sandy Clough said, because I wanted to bring him up, they were done with him at the end of the year. So they go to Sean Payton, I believe, and said, we're really screwed, and we're going to have to start from scratch. What are we going to do with this Russell Wilson situation? And I said to the ownership at the end of last season, I said, here's your chance. Now is your chance. Your chance is to wash your hands from this, be honest and upfront, and say that, we didn't have any hand in this at all. And the people before us brokered this deal. We're going to move on. Nothing bad, with the Russell Wilson, but this wasn't our deal. And they should have came clean and cleared everybody out from that regime that's still there. John Elway's nephew, for instance, they should have just said, we're going to take care of this mess these people created. But what did they do? They went after Russell Wilson. Well, you can't blame Russell Wilson. You got to blame the people that brought him in. Like you just got done saying, there's too much blame, like George Payton, Sean Payton, Russell Wilson, but no blame for the people that brokered the deal in the first place. So you got to take on all that.
Well, everything you said is spot on, Child's Liver. I mean, it's like you and I were into a time machine, talking about this stuff months ago and a year ago to this day.
When the deal went down.
Correct. When the deal went down. It's just, at this point, I'm just sick and tired of it, man, because you look at it from a broad perspective here, from a bigger perspective here. Again, they wanted to get Aaron Rodgers, and I want to circle back to the beginning of it.
Well, who did? Who wanted
so bad? You had Adam
who wanted him?
Elway wanted him, and the people in that front office did. His little henchmen. They wanted Aaron Rodgers so bad. And what did I say? I said the fallback option was Russell Wilson. I said they were desperate because Rodgers told Elway no, and he told the Broncos no. So they sold the, King's ransom to go get Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson is on the phone with Seattle saying, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do this? And I think this circles back to your contract point. Because I think it was a signed, sealed, delivered deal before he was even traded to Denver, that you're going to be getting a 5-year extension on the 2-year deal that you have left from Seattle. So basically, it's a 7-year deal. Now you're going into the 5-year deal with Russell Wilson this offseason. You're screwed. You screwed yourself. You screwed the pooch because you wanted to, make the big splash move like you always do, because that's the Denver Broncos way instead of player development.
Not only the Denver Broncos way, but whose way?
Elway's way.
Yeah,
Elway's. You have the Denver Broncos, specifically Elway's way, that doesn't care about player development. They could give a rat's ass about player development. But you have teams like Seattle, teams like that, for example, is just an example of they're into player development. They're not into this, big splash moves, happy to be there bullshit. And you talk about the Russell Wilson effect here, that everybody, oh my God, Russell Wilson got benched, this, that, and the third. I am starting to come around to your point, in which you have said from the very beginning with this, is I believe they just benched him. They waved the white flag, because I've done a bunch of research over the past few days, Chopped Liver. how in the hell are you just going to move this guy? Who's going to want to take that contract? Who's going to want to take that money? I mean, you understand the dead cap implications that this will have on our franchise, which it already has. You're already
that is, I think, what the owners walked into, and they were just. I think that they were hopping mad about the deal from the very beginning. I think Russell Wilson playing like he did last year was just like it was unbearable for them. They had no say. Elway jumped ahead of them. And why that guy is still in the building is anybody's guess. It makes no sense, but you can tell they're furious with that contract, but you can't take it out on Russell Wilson. He's not the architect of it.
Well,
and the Paytons, the architect still has an office there for whatever reason.
Well, you have 4 camps, and you and me have been on this from the very beginning. I mean, go look at our track record. We have video evidence of this stuff. You have the camp, you have the Sean Payton camp, you have the Russell Wilson camp, you have the front office camp, then you have our camp. Our camp is in the notion that we are going to be attacking that third camp, which is the front office, because no one else is doing it. I find it very ironic that they are blaming Sean Payton for being a thug, for being a dictator, when you were blaming Vic Fangio for the exact same thing 2 years ago, and you ran him out of town, but you wanted the players to run the team.
Well, hold on a second. I think what's even a bigger point is Nathaniel Hackett. You ran Nathaniel
Hackett. I was segueing into. That's what I was segueing in. You wanted the players to run the team. Nathaniel Hackett didn't have any control of that roster. They let the players be the coaches, and look how that turned out. It turned out like shit.
Well, this whole thing, I told everybody, I told everyone that would listen that this was going to come back and bite the Broncos in the ass because the ownership wasn't involved in this. They wanted to get ahead of the ownership, and I personally believe that whole let's ride thing. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to place that as when the owners were announced. When Elway was riding down the hallway with the scooter, and when the ownership was announced. Can you give me a timeline on that one? Well, it was a year ago.
That's when the schedule was released.
Yeah, so the owners had already been there, right? They just got there, right? So they were allowing Elway to ride around in a scooter with a schedule, right? Okay. I'm just going to say it. I was trying to tell you people that there are a lot of egos involved, and the fact that these guys, these owners, they have their own way of wanting to do things, whether it's right, whether it's wrong, whether it's indifferent. And the fact that somebody else made a $250 million decision without even considering about the new ownership, it baffles me why that guy is, according to Sean Payton, according to George Payton, why the guy, the architect. Now Ellis is gone. He's as far away as you could get. Why does that guy still have an office? This is what I mean when I say have an office. At the end of that, let's ride on the scooter season last year. In my opinion, that's when they should have cut Russell Wilson. What is the difference 1 year really made in the whole grand scheme of things, right? Why didn't you just cut it and be a bunch of grown-ups, these owners, be a bunch of grown-ups and point the finger and say, we didn't broker this, we don't want this, this wasn't our doing, and we apologize to Russell Wilson, but this wasn't what we wanted. We would have never, ever, and the people that are responsible, we have gotten rid of them. And we're going to start doing things the right way, whether the right, wrong, or different, but our way of doing it. Why did you play around? Because, see, Sandy Clough said this season they had already moved on. That was that they could. It was unbearable. Why wanted to do. I don't know if that was too much of a PR pill for them to swallow or what, but that's how it should have got handled, is rip the Band-Aid off right then and there. Let's be upfront. Let's be honest. Because for 8 years, they haven't got anything right. So they had a leg to stand on. They weren't involved in that. They had a leg to stand on. Now, because they waited this whole season, they're kind of guilty too, in my opinion.
Well, this is
guilty of ineptitude.
That's basically what I was gonna say here. It's an inept franchise. I don't trust this organization. I don't trust this ownership. I don't trust anybody up there. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm going to be perfectly honest here. I don't trust anybody.
Yeah. I would have been able to trust them more if they would have cut Russell Wilson instead of attacking him during the season coming up. Now, I understand teams ask players to, and I understand they didn't broker the deal, but I mean, if you're going to say you're going to bench him and you penalize him if he doesn't, it's not, he didn't create the contract. That was John Elway and Ellis that did that. You gotta, you should have pulled the plug and just said you could. Sources said that ownership didn't want anything to do with Russell Wilson at the end of the year.
Well,
last year.
You should have never made the deal to begin with. I don't understand. I don't get it because it doesn't make any sense.
The owners didn't have a say in that. That's what I'm saying. That's why I think they're furious with that. That whole deal is something they've been furious about. But what they were responsible for, okay, we'll let this season go. I'll go with you on that. But at the end of last season, they were done with Wilson. At that point, they should have just ripped the Band-Aid off and said, this wasn't our doing. We have an entity that's been here 8 years that hasn't produced anything. They need to be held accountable. We got rid of them. We're going to start this. And you wouldn't have all this drama. And there'll always be people that, and I find it very interesting too, is that all the people that are now defending Russell Wilson wanted to go on to do it at the end of the year.
Well, again,
so you want Russell
your
Wilson
connection so bad, Chopped Liver.
Right?
Chopped Liver, your connection is terrible.
Hello? You can't hear me.
No,
you can't hear me.
You're frozen. You're frozen.
Okay, I was talking about probably. Man. Did I come in?
Yeah, you're just frozen on the screen.
Great.
But you're choppy.
Have I come in?
You're choppy.
Oh, that sucks. Well, we'll talk about Russell Wilson.
Well, again, I mean, I'm sick and tired of talking about. I mean, we're talking about the quarterback. Again, the thing that I have a problem with this ownership group and all the talking up there is you still kept the cancer in that building. You still kept John Elway's people in there. Again, instead of clearing instead of starting fresh, you basically continue to keep the common thread, which was that front office that nobody holds accountable. I find that very funny that nobody and their mother holds this front office accountable.
Yeah. She's in the bathroom.
But again, was Russell Wilson playing like he was $250 million? No. He wasn't worth that contract to begin with. We've said that from the very beginning with Russell Wilson. He was never worth that $250 million. No. He was never worth it. And again, to be perfectly honest with you, Russell Wilson is a part of a bigger issue. He's a part of it. He's a part of that front office. He's a part of Elway. And you need to get rid of those type of people. I understand Elway, I'm sorry. Russell Wilson could be innocent as innocent can be. But again, he is a player that is a part of that John Elway front office team. Guys like Justin Simmons, Garrett Bowles, Mike McFlinchie, who absolutely sucks. You can make a monologue of how bad this guy is. Josie Jewell, Alex Singleton, Lloyd Cushenberry, Jerry Drops the Doodle-Doo, Judy. I mean, you got to get rid of these people. You got to get rid of these players, first and foremost. You have to get rid of the office, and that's a trickle-down effect to get rid of these players.
Well, absolutely. They need to blow it up.
They need to blow it up. And you know what? Getting rid of Russell Wilson, I understand it's going to be a tough sell for a team to take on that contract. If I was running it, I would take, you got to take the Band-Aid off the wound, and you got to rebuild it. I mean, you have to cut. I would cut them. I'd cut them. I'd take the dead cap hit for.
Well, that's what
you need to rebuild this thing. You keep Jared Stidham around. He's on what, a two-year deal. You keep him around. You build around Jared Stidham. Then you can get your quarterback.
The best you can.
You have to do the best. You have to rebuild this offensive defensive line. You need to collect draft picks. You have to try and trade these players, whether it's a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round pick. It doesn't matter. You have to cut the players. Get rid of Simmons. Get rid of Surtain. Get rid of them. You have to start.
You heard Colin Cowherd, didn't you?
What's that again?
You did hear Colin Cowherd, didn't you? The offensive line is amazing.
Well, Colin Cowherd is an idiot, and he's just, again, he's a part of that. Again, I don't take what those people say seriously. just like when I had a commenter who said, "Oh, well, PFF shows that Russell Wilson is the one that's causing these." I mean, really? Okay, if you're going to go by Pro Football Focus, show me the film of Pro Football Focus providing that. Then, if you're going to be so hell bent on the Pro Football Focus side of things, Russell Wilson is the main reason why he's getting sacked. I could agree with you to some degree there, because we have said that one of his biggest flaws is holding onto the ball too long and he can't read the field. But a majority of what you're seeing is Mike McGlinchey holding, Garrett Holtz holding, Lloyd Cushenberry holding, Quentin Miners holding now, and then you have the whole entire offensive line is holding. But still,
getting pushed back at the same time.
Correct.
Getting pushed back at the same time. I mean, that line breaks down all the time. The only reason it can even hold up as long as it does is because they're holding.
And to be perfectly honest with you, Chop, I don't think a lot of these people that, these Dove Valley, shills and these Dove Valley people that come on our channels and try to speak, Baron Browning's a great edge rusher and all that shit. I just don't think these people watch the film. I don't think they know how to. I think film is, like you said, film is foreign to these people. I just don't think that they care about it. They have all these what did Cecil Lammey say? How much does the NFL pay for Pro Football Focus? These teams pay for Pro Football Focus. That's all you need to know right there. They don't care about the film. They care about, what did Pro Football give me on a grading scale that has no context behind it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I'm just perplexed. I'd like to go back into time. And she knows. Yeah. Oh, she's got her earplugs in. Sorry about that. I'm just perplexed why this didn't happen at the end of last season. I don't think it would have made a difference. That's my question to you. Had they cut him this season or last season, did it really would have made any difference whatsoever? As far as the dead cap,
a long time ago, I mean, I would have cut the cord a long time ago. You need to, whether you and I like to believe it or not, whether we think that Russell Wilson is going to be cut, whether he's going to be traded, this, that, and the third, hypothetically. Again, I don't think this ownership is going to go through with it. I don't think they're going to cut him because if I was running things, I would cut Russell Wilson. I just cut him straight up and I just live with
that's what they've been wanting to do that since the end of last season.
Well, if you've been wanting to do, okay, Rob Walton, Greg Penner, and all you talking heads up there, if you want to cut the guy, just cut him. Stop holding on to the fucking hopium shit. Cut him. Cut him. Cut him. Just cut him. Cut these players. Cut that front office. Cut it. Cut the cord. Cut the cord.
you hit something. You better not stop with George Payton and Russell Wilson. You better keep going, or
Yes.
nothing you say is even remotely believable.
I don't think anything this organization does is remotely believable right now. I think they're full shit.
So
Sorry.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
even
It's just
if
the way I see it.
even if Wilson took decided to take that injury clause out of the contract, I still don't think they were going to keep him around either or. It just was an odd way for them to handle it. Would not have been as odd had they just cut it right at the end of the season and said, well,
they prolonged it. They prolonged the inevitable, Chot's liver.
Yeah.
They
And
prolonged it.
All they had to say is, ever since Pat Bowlen has died or has left the Broncos to the people who they haven't done the job correctly. It's been a mess every year, and this contract was nothing that we had anything to do with. It's a mess. It never should have been done. We would not have done it. That's why it's not anything against Russell Wilson. We just wouldn't have made this deal. Everybody that was involved with that is gone. And we're going in just a completely different direction. We're going to try to actually make this thing work. That would have been the right thing to do. And I said that. I said it. I made a video about that. That this is it. This is your time now to say it. And they went and gave Elway an office and scootering down the hallway.
Chot's liver, let me ask you a specific question about what you said in that video. Did you honestly believe they were going to do any of that?
Not really.
I mean, okay, I understand that this ownership is pissed, but this is where I hold the ownership accountable. All you talking heads up there, oh man, the NASCAR, Lightning McQueen guy, Greg Penner, all the talking head, Condoleezza Rice, all you talking heads. The thing I am pissed off with you guys about is you didn't cut the cord to begin with when you came in here. You didn't get rid of DeJono. Oh, just keep him around. Keep George Payton in that front office in there. Just keep it in there.
Keep the cancer.
You guys decided to prolong the inevitable.
And now that bit him in the ass.
That's where I am. That's where I'm at right now. Is oh man, the ownership. Oh man, they're pissed. Okay, yeah, they could be pissed all they want, but they made the bed with it. They kept the inevitable around. They kept the cancer around. They decided to keep it around. What did we first say when they were integrated in there? Get rid of that front office. And what did they do? They decided to prolong the inevitable.
Yeah. And now they made it even 10 times worse than had they just cut the cord at the end of last season. I'll give them the one season because they just showed up. I'll give them the one season. But I said at the end of last season, I said, now's your chance. You saw what you saw. You gave him a chance. That's fair. That was fair. You gave him a chance. And you saw the results of mismanagement.
Chot's liver.
But what did you do?
Okay,
you didn't keep the cord. You didn't cut the cord.
No, I agree with you. But let's rewind there. Oh, give him a chance 1 year. How many years have we seen this?
Well, we've never seen the owner before.
But the ownership hasn't seen the past 7 years.
I understand that. I don't think they were happy to begin with. Okay, but for public relations reasons, in all fairness, they had to give it 1 year. They had to see. Okay, we'll see how this is. Maybe we're wrong. We don't like it. We're not going to say it out publicly, but behind closed doors with the Elway crowd, they should have been saying you should have never. I'm sure they said it. You should have never made this deal. We'll give this 1 year, and it better work.
Well, okay.
And obviously, well, hold on. And then Sandy Clough said, but at the end of the season, they were ready to move on. And I made the video at the end of the season. Now is your time. You saw what happened. You saw that this is not doable. This wasn't on your watch. You're in a good spot. You can cut the cord. You can say, and the whole cord, not just Wilson, the whole thing. Just get rid of it all. and start from scratch. It may piss some people off, but you can always go back and say, we didn't do this. Look at the results. Look at the results for 8 years. We didn't do this. Look at the results. And that would just shut everybody up. But they chose not to do that. They chose to let's ride one more season. And that was a mistake. And I knew it would be a mistake to do that.
Well, anybody that had common sense and logic would have understood that this wasn't going to turn out very well. But
I don't think I thought it was going to turn out very well. I honestly believe they didn't think that, but they didn't take care of the business at the end of the season last year. That's when their opportune time right there.
Okay, this goes to your ownership thing, because the ownership point. What we did a video, or we talked about, we went and looked at the Denver Broncos staff members on denverbroncos.com.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
all the marketing that is in that organization now. You've said it, and they've even spoke it out of their mouth. What, in the next 1, 2 to 3 years, whatever it was, I don't know the correct quote. So, but they said that there's going to be a big rebranding coming up.
2 years. 2 years. There's going to be a big brand.
So again, is Sean Payton
revamp?
Is Sean Payton going to be here in 2 years? I don't think so.
That is the other thing to discuss here. You got a guy that you brought in who's not into rebuilding at all. At least he wasn't with New Orleans. That's why he left New Orleans. But of course, number one, they didn't offer him all that money. Number two, he had people holding him a leash on him.
Above him.
So my question is, are we just going to get, and here this goes to your point, are we just going to get another Elway situation with Sean Payton playing GM and Penner playing GM? The GMs, right? The GMs. Are we just going to go and see another how many years of people that don't know what they're doing? I mean, not that Sean Payton, I think I give Sean Payton more credit than Elway, but the problem is I think the guy needs a leash.
Well,
my opinion.
No, I completely agree with you. I would love to see the Broncos go after Jeff Ireland, but I don't think Jeff Ireland's going to come to this situation. That's just a hypothetical of mine. If I had to go get somebody, I would go get Jeff.
I don't know if Sean Payton even wants a GM to come in.
No, that's why I want to wait to the offseason to see what they do. But again, their track record of off seasons has been piss fucking poor, and yeah. I don't trust this organization. You're going to have to cut a lot of the fat. You're going to have to cut a lot of that Elway fat. You're going to have to. What my fear is they're just going to, get rid of George Payton, and they're going to be like, see, we cut the, just like with Elway, they hit Elway and brought in George Payton. That's my fear, is they're just going to get rid of George Payton.
Well, he's definitely going to be gone. There's no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. There's no question in my mind about that. But I think.
But who else are they going to get rid of? John Elway's nephew?
Getting rid of George Payton. At the end of the day, I think that's going to be like, oh yeah, we got rid of him. Okay, we don't need to get rid of anybody else in that scouting department. Nobody else in that front office. That's what my fear is. That is the fear that I have right now. Is they're just going to get rid of George Payton. They're not going to get rid of anybody in that scouting department and or in that front office.
Like John Elway's nephew?
Like Brian Stark? Like Daryl Key?
Yeah.
I mean, I could talk about this till I'm blue in the face, but is it actually going to happen? I don't believe it, because I don't believe this organization I don't even believe this organization to do the fucking right thing. Granted, I don't trust 31 other teams to do the right thing, let alone the Denver Broncos.
Anyway, excuse me. I have a theory about the end of last season. And it has to do with having too many talking heads, too many cooks in the kitchen. I think that you had some people saying we need to cut it now. And I think you had other people that said, give it one more year. And I think that was the debate. That's what happens when you got cooks in the kitchen. There's indecisiveness. What's going on?
Yeah, you have a bunch of that going on. I mean, it's the Denver Broncos organization we're talking about here. Their track record speaks for itself. I mean, come on. What have I said at the very beginning? They're striving for that soft Chargers culture and just happy to be there. 7, 8
If
wins.
we can get that 9 wins.
Yeah, we can get that 9 wins in, and with all the breaks that went your way this year, Denver, you still are below 500, and you have Seattle. And this is just an example. You have Seattle, who has a better record than you right now. And all you Bronco fans, again, like I said, they're just fans. So we got to take that into account. But all the crap that you talked, again, you're below 500. And again, today's game against the Chargers, is it really going to mean anything? No. I mean, could the Broncos...
Let's make this point, too. You're below 500 with Russell Wilson as your quarterback, right?
Yeah. Oh, but he's benched. He's benched. Oh, you weasel.
You were below 500 with Russell Wilson playing the majority of the season.
But I thought quarterbacks wave magic wands. Just look at Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. God.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. A little help from the refs. So, yeah, I just had to say something about we needed to back up. We needed to back up. And can you turn that back on, please? Thank you. I knew we should have done this after they left, but I didn't know, what was going on. We're at the in-laws compound here. Everybody's going to go ice skating. I've got a tore up knee, so I will not be going. So I'm trying to heal my wounds, and you can't do it very well when you're on the road. Anyway, I just wanted to make a video talking about this is beyond Sean Payton. Granted, Sean Payton stepped into this hornet's nest, and it's going to be Penner and Sean Payton's baby after this. We'll see what they do. So do you think that, well, it seemed to me that Russell Wilson and Sean Payton had like a relationship before this even went down.
And everything that comes out of that organization's mouth is all bullshit.
Well, no, this didn't come from the organization. This is from
okay. Anything that comes out of everything that comes out of that team and Sean Payton and Russell Wilson, I'm not going to take very seriously because number one, I mean, come on, Chop's liver. We could sit here again till we're blue in the face saying this, that, and the third. But again, I have to see action before you're going to talk all that shit. I actually have to see action with it. Let's just be honest here. I'm tired of going into the off season. Oh, the Denver Broncos, Sean Payton, this, that, and the third. Like, to me, Sean Payton is nothing more than a guy that's here for a retirement fund. He's here for just the money. I don't think he's here for a rebuild. And that's what the Denver Broncos need. They need a rebuild. They need to blow it up. They need to blow it up. And I'm always going to stand on that ground because we've seen.
That's what, yes. He's not the rebuild unless he wants to be the.
And I think his ego is just as bad as Elway's. I think he is an egotistical person. I do. I think Peyton, his ego is inflated right now. And again, what's that?
I'm not saying, I never say anything.
Okay, my apologies. I think Sean Payton's ego is inflated. And again, like you said, in New Orleans, he had a leash on him with Mickey Loomis and Jeff Ireland in that front office. And I don't think he liked that. I don't think he liked that one bit.
So that's what I'm saying. We may be getting another Elway type situation where, you got a dictator running. Penner is obviously backing him up, but we'll see how long the whole thing goes for. They got a lot of work to do. I mean, they got a lot of.
Yeah, it's gonna take a very long time for this team to even get back to, in my opinion. Well, I shouldn't say that because I don't trust the NFL. The NFL, The NFL is a very bad product right now, and again, the Denver Broncos could make some tweaks here and there, and the NFL will try and help them next year, and we could see the same thing as we saw this year with the refs helping and other teams playing like shit. And I just don't trust this league.
It's hard to tell. It's going to be the they were just counting on the Russell Wilson factor. As far as that,
to me, it's politics more than anything. With especially with Russell Wilson, it's political.
Well, Russell Wilson was a part of. Well, Russell Wilson was a part of that politics.
That's
Russell Wilson was a part of that politics, and I don't think he's. It sounds like the ownership is finally going to pull the plug on this contract.
I don't think they. Come on.
I know my video. I said I couldn't see it either.
But I've looked at it again. If I am the ownership, I get rid of them. I'd eat it. I'd eat the dead cat money. I'd eat it. And you froze, Mr. Freeze 2.0. I'm frozen. Grandpa Freeze. Oh, Lordy. Gotta love it. You're frozen. You're frozen, chopped liver. Looks like the freeze bug is attacked chopped liver. Oh man, Mr. Grandpa Freeze, Grandpa Freeze. Oh man, there he is.
Have I come in?
Yep, we can hear you from your in-laws' compound.
Live from my in-laws' basement. All right. I said, what did I say? I said it looks like they're ready to pull the plug.
We'll see.
I know. I couldn't believe it either, but I guess this is what it sounded like to me. It sounded like that they were going to bench Wilson regardless after the Kansas City win, and Payton talked the owners off the ledge and said, well, you better let this go for a little bit. So if Payton did anything, he probably kept Wilson, on the field. And then I guess when they couldn't score on the one yard line, I guess it was just too much. Sean Payton blew a gasket. Am I still frozen?
Yeah, you're still frozen, but I can hear you loud and clear. Live from your in-laws' compound.
Live from my in-laws' compound. So, sorry, we try to do these videos. We don't have the luxury of a studio and stuff. We have to do these on the fly on everybody's schedule.
Yeah, we don't.
That's why we're able to do this New Year's Eve, where everybody is waiting to get off their cushy little schedules and their nice little job to lie to you, the general public, about what's going on. It'll be just one big soap opera, but you'll never get hear the really true story, which goes all the way back to Elway and Ellis on this whole thing. Owners getting the shit sandwich handed to them and having to take a bite. So
we don't have the luxury of the Cecil Lammy studio when all he brings up is bullshit and lies and has Elway's ringtone on speed dial on his whatever phone he has. So yeah, Cecil Lammy, keep watching our videos, buddy.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Steeler fan, Cecil Lammy.
Yep, Pittsburgh Steeler fan, the John Elway fanboy.
Yeah, that's right where I want to get my information from.
Yeah,
PFF.
A guy that looks like he just came from the planet Mars.
I find it interesting that everybody says PFF and now they're geniuses because they say PFF.
Oh yeah, that they didn't say that, or they send you film breakdowns of basically proving our point.
Well, they're not smart enough to know
playing edge. Majority of the time, they're playing off-ball linebacker
because they don't know the difference between the two.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
All right,
And
let's get ready for this game.
I can't watch it, but I'll tell you what. I have a feeling that guy was from the front office, was part of that Elway. I do think they may be getting ready to lose it. What?
His name tag was fucking Josh Allen is the next John Elway. If that doesn't tell you all you need to know right there, I don't know what does.
Yeah, I think they're all getting ready to get canned over there.
I sure
Most
hope
people.
So. I sure hope.
Yeah, I will definitely play the laugh track when that happens. All right. Well, I guess this is enough going in and out for one day.
Yeah, I think your in-laws compound signal is starting to go out because you're not taking out the trash.
Yeah. Emptying out the kitty litter box.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you go.
All right, Happy New Year's.
You too. Go Broncos.
Woo!